What is going on, everybody? What a day we're having today. Litecoin Halving happens today. 81 million people or 81 million businesses or 81 million something or other are now available in a new app to trade Shiba Inu like real world currency. 6 different companies have filed for a futures ETF on Ethereum. Binance did monthly transactions worth $90 billion in the banned China market. The Wall Street Journal reports, hey, Wall Street, Jesus Christ, why don't you quit being a snitch? God. And Bitcoin briefly touched $30,000 just recently. So this is not financial advice. I'm always right.
It's your boy Bleed. Everybody listen up. Let's get it. I'm trying to put money in your pocket. That crypto wallet. That bing bada bing ching ching big profit. Even when the market's sideways, I'm looking for ways to get paid. I'm checking my coins around breakfast. Then again around bedtime. Bet this. It's not financial advice. But I'm always right. 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 I'm always right.
What is going on, everybody? I hope you're having a great morning. My name is Bleeves. This is Breakfast with Bleeves. We got all kinds of news to cover. The halving is today for Litecoin, and to celebrate the halving, yeah. So the market dumped on Litecoin to celebrate the halving because you know how they do. The markets be marketing, doing whatever. Make sure you hit the like button on the way in. That would certainly help me out, push me up in the algorithm, and let's kick it off. First of all, this is the Litecoin chart right now. As you can see, we did have a little bit of a bounce, a nice little run up to 94 before just starting this downward trajectory. And the question is, how far down does it go? Most probably we're looking at another 89, 60, something like that before it starts to reverse again. Money flow on the out. We did have a good market, by the way, through the evening as we pumped up to 1.16 trillion in market cap before retracing all the way back down. As we said, and look, we always want to be wrong, right? When we're saying that it's going to come back down and touch the 200 SMA. Well, came down and touched the 200 SMA. Thank you, overnight markets, for taking your money back. But hey, at least we saw in the overnight markets, the Japanese markets, the Australian markets, the early Asian markets were in a buying mood until we got to the later portion of the markets, and then we had the sell down and the European market, bleeding crypto dry of all the money and liquidity because they hate seeing your success. Anybody who's in this kind of position and business, they hate your success. They do not want to see you succeed in what you are doing. So let's get into this. Good morning, Bleeves. First one in. Holy smokes, Trail Boss is in the house. Keg Drum is here. Feeling like a freaking yo-yo in this market. Well, that's because you can make money by longing go up when it's going to come back down now. Then you make money shorting. So you make money both ways. So it's on you to figure out how to do that. And if you do that well, then you make a lot of potential money. You get wrecked every once in a while. You make mistakes every once in a while. But generally speaking, if you can do that and if you can manage this market properly, then there is plenty of opportunity no matter which direction you're going. John Thomas says, Ben Nation V2, will it help get listed on big exchanges? In fact, there's going to be some gigantic exchanges coming. I cannot talk about anything Bencoin related in that hopium sort of sense other than this is what I see on the price action and stuff like that, because I might know too much. I might know too little. I might know things that I shouldn't know, or maybe I know plenty of things that I should know, but I can't tell you about. So here's what I will say. I'm invested heavily in Bencoin, and I'm going to stay in Bencoin for quite a while because I have a feeling that there is a gigantic move getting ready to come. Here's the thing. It is my belief that BitBoy Crypto is probably the largest of the general YouTube influencers in all of cryptocurrency, and that he has a vested interest in making sure that his project, in this case, Ben, is going to be incredibly successful. And if that is the case, why not get behind that? Because I think that he has the inroad, he has the ear of a lot of different people who can make a lot of different good and positive things happen in the market and for investors. And I think that he has a lot of wealthy people that are in his orbit that will probably invest in something just based on the speculation that he's in charge, right? I get that sense. He's not like a Logan Paul. He's not somebody who's just got a bunch of tiny retail guys that are doing stuff. He's not, you know what I mean? He's not somebody who just kind of sits out here and has blah, 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 blah happening. He's an actual person that talks about crypto day in and day out. This is his passion project. The purpose of it is mass adoption in crypto. So can it fail? Of course it could, but I don't think that it will for that simple fact. So I'm going to hold on. And I do think that we'll probably visit 100 million market cap again, like very, very, a lot sooner than you think. I'm not as bullish on hitting 300, 400, 500 million market cap and getting in that top 100 immediately. But I do know that there is a mechanism by which getting to 100 million market cap again is probably going to be the order of the day. Maybe even 150 million. I don't know yet. I've got to see it play out before anything happens. And I apologize. I don't mean to be distracted, but we are watching and we are witnessing a lot of sell-off in the market all of a sudden. I hate when that turns green. Off of this last move right here. So it looks like even on the 15-minute, we're coming down into this range right here. So it looks like that little capitulation sell-off as the U.S. markets are getting ready to open is already taking place, because you know how America do, dog. Good morning, all from Coin on Crypto. Richard Caldwell in the house. Good morning. Justin W. Good morning. Ben Fair is in the house. Greetings all from Grant Vorachuk. Man Watching TV says good morning. Honda is in the house. Bad on the move on Bitmart. I think you mean bald, daddy. Snitches get stitches. God, Jesus Christ, I can't. Wall Street Journal, Jesus Christ, like, have somebody's back. La Cosa Nostra, baby. La Cosa Nostra. Shut up and stop being a Bogart. Dopey Dude says, what's up, dude? Living the dream, man. Barney M. Hi from Bangkok. I really want to go to Bangkok. I really want to visit. As a matter of fact, I want to visit the entire world, and we're going to be doing that pretty soon. So shout out to everybody in Bangkok if you are watching. I appreciate you guys. Morning from Nicholas. Stewie token, Mean to Earn is live and also have a buying competition going on. Stewie, the of all the Griffins, Stewie is probably the best. So if you haven't already, you might want to check out Stewie token. I'm not sponsored. I don't have anything to do with them, but I do watch Family Guy. So I guess you could call me something of an expert. Karen Waters in the house. What is going on? Love that song, Getting Me Pumped. I appreciate it. By the way, if anybody knows anybody who can do a cover version of my intro song, it's only a minute long, right? There should be a punk rock band out there that can do an intro version of that song while keeping the spirit of the beat alive and creating me a punk rock version of my intro song. I certainly would appreciate that. Man Watching TV, the halving means that the difficulty level of mining the tokens is going to go up by a factor of 2. So it's going to be twice as difficult to mine the tokens as it was before, which will drive up the price action to keep people in business. Kamal says, good morning. Daniel Volt is in here volting. Iradi, how many months till we start seeing consistent gains in the market? When new money? I mean, I don't. Yeah, that's the question that everybody asks, and that's the question that everybody wants to know. But I mean, look, if I go back and I start looking at 4 years ago, exactly 4 years ago, we're going to see patterns start to emerge in the market and the way that the market is moving and the way that it's trading. Like, for example, if we go back here to about 4 years ago, that's going to be right around here. Then we saw this big move coming up all the way through May, June, July, August. So here we are in August, right? We had a dip right here. We had the big moon in July. Now, we did not get the big moon in July. We just got a sideways sort of move on this one. which could be representative of this little spot right here with a bigger top over here, right? So we see that happen. Then we had this downward movement. Then we had this upward movement. Now, here's the thing. The downward movement right here, that's December. That's going to be December. And then what do we get? We got this big move in January. So what do we expect to happen? Well, January, we're going to see a big move. What are we going to see in the meantime? It looks like this for the end of this year is probably going to be a little downward pressure. That's what it looked like a couple years ago. 4 years ago, we had that downward move, and then we had this big upward spike. Now, the one thing to take into consideration is this right here. That is the COVID spike that dumped on the market. So I don't think that we have to deal with that again. So I don't think that that's going to happen. And I think that really, if I were to cut that out and just take this part away and just assume that that didn't happen, then what you saw was really a parabolic sort of run. Now, I don't know that the parabolic run was going to be as much as it was intended to be. Like, it may not have been that much because we didn't get that. This was a lot of COVID money, right? There was a lot of COVID money at that time. So, maybe we don't see that, but we do see a new all-time high. We do end up seeing a new all-time high because we do have BlackRock. We have exposure that we didn't have before that's now coming back into the market. So I do think that we're about to see something really magnificent, but we do have some time before that happens. Like there's some pain that you're going to experience before we get to that moment. We could do this over here, by the way, with Ethereum as well. And if you look at Ethereum as well, start going into January right here, you see the big move, you see the big dump, you see the big move at the start of January, and then the same thing. I mean, you saw the wind down for COVID, and then we just got on that parabolic move. Now we're just going to have that parabolic move without the COVID dump that happened right there. So that's what I would think happens. Now, if you go back, by the way, you can probably make an argument here on 2015. I don't know if I have this on the US dollar. Yeah, I don't have this on this index. Hold on. Depending on how far back we come. Okay, yeah. So we come back here, and then we can look at the same thing playing out right around. So right here, this is where the oh shit, I'm at the wrong year. God damn it. Okay, so right here, this is where it all starts for the next cycle, right? So here's the thing. From August, which was this dip right here, which, by the way, this correlates to everything that we're talking about right now. We had a quicker dip right here, and then we just started mooning and started mooning and started mooning and started mooning. So it continued to just kind of run. And then there we go. We minted that new top, then it came back down. So, I mean, look, there's going to be... have a little patience because it's coming, I guess, is the best thing that you can possibly say to somebody. Just realize that the halving is coming. It's going to happen. And when it does, this is the run that we get on, right? So until then, we got to see what happens. And what happened over here was sideways momentum. But when you look at the percentages, by the way, and you zoom in, I mean, again, assuming August, I guess at this point, assuming August to the end of the year. So from August to the end of the year here, Bitcoin was down about 13%. So not nearly as much. But if you start to look at like where it came down at the worst of times, because you're trying to sell off, it was a 40% dump. So there's still some problems that we have to address. Now, the other part to this is maybe some of this is because of the market being the way we are. Is something different this time? That's the question that we have to ask ourselves. Is something different this time? And I do think that the markets are a little bit different. The context of everything is a little bit different. We're coming out of something that was a little bit weird. So maybe, just maybe, we have a nice little run. So what's Bencoin? Bencoin is the coin for, we'll get into that. And good morning to the rest of everybody who is in here right now. Let's get into the news right now. Let's get this as quickly as we can. Sell the news. Litecoin traders capitulate ahead of today's halving. So the halving will happen a little bit later on today. And when it does, then it means that the difficulty, it's a 2-to-1 difficulty ratio. So that means that the Litecoin, the cost to mint and create new Litecoin on mining is going to be a lot harder. And that means that the value of it is going to have to go up in order to relate to people the profitability. So this third halving event will reduce the cryptocurrency block reward from 12.5 Litecoin to 6.25 Litecoin. So historically, these events have been important for the asset as they mark points where the cryptocurrency's production rate shrinks, and hence the coin becomes more and more scarce. So there's more investors, but there's less coins going around. Generally speaking, that's supposed to be a pretty bullish sentiment. So Litecoin halving going to happen today, and then it'll be a little bit more difficult to create new Litecoin, which will start to drive up the price action on it. Buy the rumor, sell the news is still the order of the day. This is the market for that. So that's what we're doing right now. And you'll see a little bit more dip, maybe a lot more dip over the next 24 hours. But then you'll start to see a change in Litecoin. And if any of the histories are if you go back and look, it's always been a nice little price spike, right? Every single time you see a halving, then you do see a nice spike in the price action. So I expect to see the same thing. Now, in case you didn't know, because it's been not told to people, volatility shares, Bitwise, VanEck, Roundhill, ProShares, and Grayscale have all filed applications with the SEC for Ethereum exchange traded funds. So if the first Ethereum futures ETF could go live on October 12th, if the SEC does not deny the application. Now, I would expect to see the SEC to deny the application because they have every logical reason to do that. And even though I disagree, I do believe, by the way, that's my real life brother in house. So shout out to Chris. That is my little brother. So thank you for coming in, man. All of these guys are probably going to get rejected because Ethereum by itself, in and of itself, I don't think that they're, we saw what happened with Gary Gensler, in May, but I don't think that they're ready to say that it's a commodity or a security. They think that the underlying contract is the case and the reason why we might have that problem. But I think that because they don't have clarity in altcoins, I think because that doesn't exist, I get the sense that they'll probably want to reject it because they'll want, it would depend, by the way, on the custody. Okay. So I would think that these are, I don't know that they've actually filled out the custody forms correctly, which has been a big deal. And then they're going to want somebody sufficient to oversee it, which of course, that's probably going to be NASDAQ, I would say at this point. So if NASDAQ is involved, if Coinbase is involved, then, maybe it has a chance, just like BlackRock and the Bitcoin ETF. But, I get this feeling at best, because it's a new asset, the only thing that is working in the advantage here for the spot ETFs or these futures ETFs is probably going to be Bitcoin, because that one is clearly considered a commodity by all parties involved. So I would be reticent to say that Ethereum is going to pump because of this, because I don't see it yet, but we're getting closer and closer. At least we've got these people out there doing it, and there's discussions being held, and the SEC is going to have to give fundamental answers at some point as to why they are rejecting it. And then if these guys refile overcoming those objections, then they're going to make it very difficult for the SEC to say no, unless it becomes evident that they're just trying to manipulate people in these markets. So Binance did $90 billion in transactions in China. That's about $3 billion a day, says this goddamn snitch, the Wall Street Journal. Wall Street Journal, why don't you chill? You know what I mean? Like, stop ratting people out, you Bogart. So Binance users traded cryptocurrency-related assets worth $90 billion in a single month in China, where such trading has been illegal since 2021. And guys, we remember that was about April 19, April 15 of 2021. That's when we had that big crash, and we had that guy coming out and reporting, by the way, that this is about to happen. It's going to get crazy, and there's a whole bunch of people, big wigs in the markets that are about to sell this, and they're going to dunk on it. You've been warned, and nobody believed him. And the next thing you know, it all happened, and it all happened just in a rapid succession. The transaction made China Binance's biggest market by far, accounting for 20% of volume worldwide, excluding trades made by subset of very large traders. And when you come over here to spot exchanges, you can see obviously the trading volume with Binance, $9 billion per day. Derivatives trading, even worse, $40.8 billion in derivatives trading per day. OKX, $15.6 billion, Bybit, $9.5 billion. So big players out here. Binance killing the game. $50 billion in trade volume for the day. And they have low maker and taker fees. So they are making an absolute killing every single day. So shout out to Binance for keeping it going in the face of all of this negativity and all of this fighting that's going on in cryptocurrency, while at the same time the SEC is coming after them. Everybody's still taking the fight to them, and it doesn't really matter. Moving on, Bitcoin briefly touches 30K amid whale transactions. Whale transactions involving Bitcoin worth at least 1 million have witnessed a remarkable rise per sentiment. From July 27 to August 1, the market observed a decrease in Bitcoin whale transactions. However, amid the recent Bitcoin price recovery, the whale transaction count experienced reasonable spikes. So it looks like the whales are coming back in and pumping that Bitcoin price. What is it that they know that we don't know becomes the question. Moving on here. Aave, according to Gauntlet, Gauntlet, by the way, is one of those risk management firms. They say that Aave should block Curve token borrowing at this point. Remember, guys, that yesterday we saw Mike Egorov from Curve selling off massive amounts of Curve in order to pay his debts that had come due. And then, we saw a whole bunch of people like Justin Sun come in to save to help save Curve. Curve Finance, a stablecoin swapping giant, suffered a Sunday exploit that drove down the price, putting a 168 million stash of founder Mike Egorov's money at risk of being liquidated. Now, what had happened was he had borrowed against that, and at 37 cents, he would be automatically liquidated. However, coming into this Curve, where was the Curve price? Did we track that? I know that we were looking at it, but you know what? Let's just do it over here. Back up to 55 cents from, this is in the last 24 hours, by the way. Over 7 days, it did have this dump down here, but look at this. It came down here to about 50 cents and then spiked immediately back up to around 60 cents. So that's about a 20% gain in a short period of time. And then we had Justin Sun stepping in to try to help out, make sure that this thing did not go sideways and that this did not get screwed up. Because I think that Curve as a lender here is probably important, or at least Aave as a lender is important, and Curve is probably important to the ecosystem. So we'll see what happens there. But Curve DAO, a lot going on. Baby Doge has burned 2 quadrillion tokens, and the price jumped 3.5% because of that. We don't cover Baby Doge here, but I did want to point that out in case anybody here is holding on to it. Now, Alameda Research is tied to the bald coin crash, according to Wintermute researcher. Crypto Twitter was sent into a tailspin, et cetera, et cetera. Igor Igamberdiev, Wintermute's chief of research, uncovered information implying that bald token creators identified through the smart contract address that brought the coin into existence on the base network are linked to Alameda Research, once FTX Exchange's research and trading subsidiary, which has since fallen apart. All right, so this is what he's got, and this is what he says was happening here. All right, I've been sitting on this news all day, but let's look at the bald-based bald deployer. This is definitely someone from Alameda, but I don't think we can safely say that this is SBF, okay? So I started the morning by making sure that he is not a Coinbase insider, despite the mention of the address as the largest holder on DeFi governance forums. Upon closer inspection, one could find that CB ETH was not minted by Coinbase, but was bought on Uniswap. Despite the incredible amount of funds the address held, the leading exchanges were Binance, FTX, and Coinbase. Nothing out of the ordinary, right? Could be anyone. So I went to see if any previous addresses were associated with exchange accounts. Bingo. We found an old wallet that stopped being very active last summer, and has been incredibly active in 2019 and 2020, trading Oasis, DEX, OXV21, DIDEX, Set Protocol, etc. Not everyone at that time had significant capital and technical capabilities for this. This address has moved much more through itself, primarily interacting with offshore exchanges. The share of FTX is much larger here, and even Alameda is present, but still missing a lot of FTT transfers, or the address received funds immediately after the CEX disappeared. This address also was associated with the AD7B, ex-top trader on DIDEX, voted for the first proposal on SushiSwap, received POAP from the Yearn launch, and used millions of USD to farm Comp, Sushi, BDP, Swerve, Cream, and STG. Given the track record and the lack of contacts with other players, then we can point the finger towards someone from Alameda. And let's try to answer probably the most critical question: SBS or Alameda Trabuco? I have already shared an activity chart on the OG wallet, which ceased to be active last summer. Let's see when bald deployer activity started, and remember one great thread. Also, how could SBF transfer 40 million through Coinbase? It is unlikely you can get by with fake KYC and without a source of funds. In addition, the FTX auditor should know from the SBF address, since the exchange and the OTC made transactions with it. There are a few more details, such as the dates of some addresses. Activities correlate with Trabuco tweets. For example, a tweet about the Stargate auction. Was SBF so stupid that he used all the unnoticed funds as liquidity for a meme coin of build on base and deliberately did everything to expose himself? Yes, possibly, but unlikely in my opinion. I did not communicate with him in real life, but I agree with Evgeny, who says SBF doesn't strike me as the guy who has, how should I put it, consistent and work ethic to correctly pull off a complex strategy. And number 12, I definitely should have posted this thread at least after the rug pull, as I discussed the findings with a close circle of colleagues and friends. But the previous day hit me hard, as did my comrades, so I'm glad y'all came to the conclusion. So we're looking at it and saying that it's probably this crazy-eyed buffoon, Sam Trabuco, former CEO and crypto quant trader at Alameda Research. So they did say it's probably not SBF, but it is somebody associated with it. Now, moving on, Sandbox, Aptos, Optimism, and Injective are all having a fresh unlocked set of tokens, which are going to be worth hundreds of millions of dollars. So if you are invested in any one of these short term, I would say it would be time to stable those and stay out of the line of fire, because unlike Ethereum, which when there was an unlock a couple months ago, didn't really cause a real spike or a downturn. There's not as much reason to hold on to your sand tokens or altcoin tokens. There's not nearly as much reason. So I would be very careful about trading with those right now. Trader who caught the 2023 crypto breakout flips bearish on Bitcoin and unveils a worst case scenario. This is DonAlt, who told his 500,000 followers that he believes that there's a possibility that Bitcoin goes all the way down to 20,000. And what he says was, according to DonAlt, 27,000 could act as support for Bitcoin, but he'd rather wait for Bitcoin to go back above 30,000, which happened yesterday. So we'll see if that maintains. And 5.5 million users spend Shiba Inu at over 81 million retailers worldwide. Launched in August 2020, blah, blah, blah. Priding itself as the banking alternative for Web3. Wirex revealed that SHIB joined its platform in 2022. The top payment app said it continues to enable its 5.5 million users to buy, exchange, and spend SHIB at over 81 million retailers worldwide. The Shiba Inu team corroborated these facts, urging users to patronize this service. So Wirex, if you haven't already, go check out at Wirex App. And if you are interested, the possibility certainly exists that you can use your SHIB to trade on wirexapp.com. And there should be, by the way, a list, just like VoltiCard, of different cryptos that you can use. So it doesn't have a list right here, but I would go look at this if you want. It's easier than cashing out, right? So I would go look at this if you want and see what it is that they've got going on. Now, as far as Wirex goes, let's get that out of here. Whale Alert still showing a significant amount of volume moving back and forth between all places. Uniswap transferred to Coinbase. Uniswap transferred from Binance to an unknown wallet. So this seems like a weird move here. This was pulled from Binance to an unknown wallet, and then from an unknown wallet to Coinbase, all at one period of time. Why would you? That doesn't make any sense at all. So I would think that they're about to dunk on Uniswap. Look on Chain. Look on Chain has Whale borrowed 140K BNB from Venus and deposited into Binance 6 hours ago. Possibly will stake BNB to farm Cyber and SEI. So maybe that's a thing. If you want to buy weed, THC gummies, because that's the big thing. You know, remember, by the way, at one point when you went to Twitter, you would see like AT&T, you would see all these different Apple, you would see all these different organizations. And now the number one advertiser on Twitter is Cheech and Chong's weed gummies. How far has Twitter fallen in ad revenue? Like, I don't know how that quantifies overall, but man, oh man, oh man, that's just absolutely insane what's going on there. So, but let's move on here to Bitcoin liquidation levels. We're coming back down into this range, might be coming through here to sweep this up. Top of the day, it's 2:31 p.m. in Lagos, Nigeria. Thank you for tuning in. I appreciate you. At 29,000, maybe down to 28,700 again for another sweep of liquidity right here to make another push into 30,000 potentially. We'll see what happens over here, but we're starting to see Bitcoin price continue that little downward pressure. Ben is here we go. This is the new one, by the way. Gear. I got some content coming out on it today. Trading at 1337. That's elite, boys. So 1337 was trading up here at about 2441 just a few short hours ago. And I get the sense that this one's going to be a million market cap very, very shortly. If you haven't already checked it out, you might want to go. It's gearerc.com. And as you go through it, it's a you can start the DApp right here. And it is I use this with Advantis AI. You've got a token sniffer, you've got charts, portfolio, a watch list, live trading pairs, token FOMO. Then you have a gear auditor where you can audit any Solidity contract. And then you have a gear bot, which is an automated trading bot. And if you're not interested in that, but you are interested in trading, then guess what? They have a swap that has limit orders. So there we go. If you want to do limit order trading, connect your wallet, and there you go. When it hits a certain price, it will buy for you. So this is exactly like this is what you're looking for when you're trading in the DeFi space. So Gear certainly doing something pretty cool right now. Bone up to $1.67. Again, it's on. It's headed to 210. Link is at 2953. 262,000 market cap. I got a feeling, by the way, Link 2.0 is going to be listed on Cytopro and Cytoswap tomorrow. So, and remember what happens in that Saitama ecosystem. They will sell their Saitama to buy these new tokens in order to pump the shit out of these prices and make a bunch of money off of them. So I would say that Link 2.0 is probably going to have a nice little run. Don't quote me on that because you never really know how these things play out. But, you know, I would get the sense most probably that we're going to see something happen with Link 2 very, very soon. Volt having a little bit of a recovery, but not significant. It still has that same move towards the upside. Now, you might start being able to make an argument, by the way, as you start to try to figure out what's going on over here, you might be able to make a compelling argument here that you've got this wedge pattern playing out. And even if you don't like where I put it right there, you can come up here and it still plays out the same way, but it doesn't make any sense right there. It makes sense right in this spot right here. So you've got this wedge sort of playing out right now. And if that's the case, then you probably have a bullish indicator for Volt, because you've got an ascending wedge playing out real time, which usually would mean a significant pump is coming. And if you pull out here to here and just kind of, any way you look at it, you're really looking at the potential for a breakout coming in the next 2 days on Volt. If there's an opportunity for it, then there you go. Advantis AI is trading at 1320, still no change in that price. 100x Gems 2877, Decanex 1769, SHIB 8296, Pepe 1232. WAGMI still suffering because it's the closed beta and you got the buy the rumor, sell the news, and no reason for people to pick it back up yet, while they just kind of sit there idly waiting to see what happens. And trading at 1549 right now, significantly up from where we were talking about a long time ago, though. I mean, you got to recognize that. PSYOP 6973, Lillian Finance 3241. Something big supposed to be happening at Lily Finance. Don't know what it is yet, but we'll see. Cult 2618, Ben 4408. Another little pressure here of downward momentum. You get these little 70 that make no sense, by the way, but they are happening. And X was going to give it to you, but look, guys, I was hoping to be wrong about X, but it minted this right here and this right here. So I want you to just see what I'm seeing right here. That right there, plus this right here. That is the bearish divergence that you're looking at, and most probably means downward pressure. And if you don't think that's right, then you can look at this and you can look at this, and you can see here that at the same time we've got these spikes that maybe not, but it looks like we're getting a bearish divergence, meaning that the price could be at the top already and coming down significantly, or maybe we'll get a little bit of FOMO because look, it looks like there's just a gigantic amount of trading volume that continues on, even though the volume continues to come down, right? But it's not bot trading anymore. When you see these come in, we got F44 token ERC. Are we getting new investors coming in? We got X right here, and no, it's not a new investor. Even though it says it's a new investor, this person has been buying and selling and buying and selling and buying and selling over and over and over and over and over again. So this person is just playing the chart. So that's not a new investor coming in. That's just somebody buying at 32, trying to make a buck off of it. This 3.0, that should be a new investor, A84E. Let's go to token transfers, and absolutely not. This is a person who is buying, but also selling on the chart. So not really seeing any of that kind of shit going on. Binance is available in Japan again. Yes. So I think that wraps it up. So that's it, guys. This is not financial advice. My name is Bleeves. I'm always right. Thank you so much for tuning in. I appreciate each and every one of you that you take the time to come watch me while I come over here and rant about crazy cryptocurrency. Still working on a new camera. I can't get the USB 3.0. If anybody knows how to make a USB 3.0 that is registering as a USB 2.0, even though I pulled this apart and the wire is still blue, it didn't change colors. So it is a USB 3.0, but it's only being recognized under USB TreeView as a 2.0. Says that it's not enabled. Super speed, I think, has to be enabled and not high speed. So I have no idea how to do any of that shit. But I know it has to be a driver issue. And I don't have drivers where I can just roll them back. So I don't know. Anyway, is BRL still a thing? I don't know. I'm still holding on to it because, look, it's ridiculous for me to sell during a bear market unless I'm just convinced that there's nothing that's ever going to happen there. And Steve from Rocket Crypto made himself a wealthy man, and he's putting his money and considerable muscle during a bull market behind this project. So I think it's going to be fine. I don't need to be stimulated by the price action going up and down every single day. I mean, I like talking about it, but I don't need to see it in my wallet to know that something good probably will happen. So I'm not really worried about BRL. I would like to see more, but this is a tough market. So, we'll see when we see. Anyway, not financial advice. We'll talk to you again soon.
Okay. Whoa, another shot of the bullet. Loaded, got complex, cocking and pulling. That bottleneck